It's my absolute pleasure to introduce Rachel Jones this morning. Who is speaking about keeping watch. So it's my pleasure to hand over to Rachel.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Flora. So, everybody, I'm going to hopefully use a bit of technology today, which is definitely not my strong point. Talking is okay, but the technology, we'll see how it goes. Already this morning, we had a slight crisis, which Shiny has saved the day with, I think. So we'll see how we go. So, August bank holiday, it was hard to know how many people would be here and how many children would be here. So I thought, let's have audience participation from all of the ages. I'm not going to do just a little game for the children at the front. Everyone has to get involved. And Phil Orchard said to me this morning, is there going to be a quiz? Of course there's going to be a quiz. There's always a quiz. So I'm going to try and use this clicker to click through my slides as well. Good, there we go. So you might see the side of my head quite a lot today, so apologies for that. So this is where we've got to in our Summer Sunday series, and I've got the topic on watch. And I thought, how can we talk about watch? Well, first of all, we should do some watching, and we could learn how to watch carefully. And for those of you who are my age or older, you might remember the Krypton factor. Who remembers the Krypton factor? It was on a Monday night, and I absolutely loved it. And there was like a physical challenge and all these different things. And there was always an observation round. And I was always worst on the TV when I was watching at the observation rounds. This is definitely not a strength of mine. But what I'd like us to do in a minute is we're going to get into some little groups. So maybe, I don't know, 4s or 6s, it doesn't matter, just with the people around you, okay? And we're going to watch a 1-minute clip, which Shiny is going to put up. We're going to watch it twice, okay? And you are not allowed to write anything while the clip is going on, because that will be cheating. Okay, so you're going to see it twice, and then I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and in your team, you're going to see how many of the 10 questions you can do, okay? So, what we're going to do, I've got some children and young people, volunteers. Where are you? Wards and Hinkses are going to help me give some things out. So we've got some paper and some pens. So your job is to get yourselves into some little groups, wave at one of these children or young people, and they're going to give you a pen and a piece of paper. And while you do that, Shiny is just going to swap the video. If you don't want to be involved, please feel free to sit out. But don't leave anyone out. Look out for people, make a team together, okay? We'll start in 1 minute. Yeah, the answer to the 10 questions.
Oh, just the answer.
Yeah. Did I not explain my task very well?
I was just going to know.
Were you just not listening? Yeah. Okay, so wave at the young people if you need some paper and pen. Make sure you found your group. There's some more people waving over here, Josiah. There we go. Okay, I think we're nearly there. Wave if you still don't have a piece of paper. Oh, this back corner looks like it needs a few more. Nathan and Abigail, just over that way. Yeah, just up there. And Verity, some people in the front at the middle there, just behind the sound desk. Right, okay, are we all sorted? Okay, anybody else? Last chance to wave. Right, okay, here we go. So, the little video clip is about 1 minute long, and it's just pictures of things related to holidays. Okay? Remember, you can't write anything down. You're going to watch the clip twice straight after itself. And then it's time for the questions. Okay, off you go. Shiny, ready? Okay, that's the end for the first time. You don't have to remember all those airline times, don't worry. And here's the second play. Ready, Shiny? Okay, and that's it. So while Shiny is just putting the PowerPoint back on, you can write the numbers 1 to 10, ready for the 10 questions. Okay, whoever is your scribe, or some people have done that already. This group over here were talking themselves through all the things that the questions could be as we were going through. Let's see if they were right. Okay, so here we go. So these slides might need some help to click past. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's the first 5 all together. So number 1, what airline did the aircraft shown belong to? Okay. Number 2. You saw 5 backpacks sitting on top of 5 suitcases. What color was the backpack on the far right? Number 3, what time was shown on the large clock that you saw at the end? And I've gone multiple choice for the next 2 because I thought they were a bit hard. According to the departure board, what was the destination for flight 1508? Oh, there's cheating. Not in church, surely. According to the airport signage, which of these places was not straight ahead? The baggage hall, terminal 2, first aid, or gate F. So that's 1 to 5. Okay. Right, next ones. 6 to 10. Number 6, what fruit was the male tourist holding? Number 7, how many of the suitcases had straps around them? Anyone notice that? Number 8, the name of which London railway station was on the large clock? Number 9, what color shorts was the female tourist wearing? And number 10, this is the hard one. What time was the flight to Hurghada? And I haven't given you any multiple choice this time. This is to see who's really good at observing things. I had to look up where that was. Does anyone know where Hurghada is? In Egypt. Good, that's right. It's a place in Egypt. Okay, so 10 seconds to finalize your answers. And then we're going to go through the answers. Question 5. According to the airport signage, which of these places was not straight ahead? The baggage hall, terminal 2, first aid, or gate F, which was not straight ahead. Okay. Can you go back to the previous one? I hope so. Yes, there we go. There's 1 to 5. One more time. Oh, we're taking this very seriously, everyone. I like it. It's good. Okay, this is the last watching of 1 to 5. 6 to 10. And here are the answers. Okay, here we go. So number 1, Lufthansa. Number 2, yellow was the backpack. Number 3, the time on the clock was 11:17. No, 11:17, not 11:20. Number 4, it was Istanbul. And number 5, Terminal 2 was not straight ahead. Okay, next ones. The tourist was holding a watermelon. 2 of the suitcases had straps around them. It was Paddington railway station. The tourist was wearing pink shorts. And number 10, did anyone get this one? 320, did you get it? It's not 330, 320. 320, good job, Gazward, excellent. Okay, so can you give yourself a score out of 10? 11, 17's good, yeah? Go on, 1 minute. Okay, so can you put your hand up if your group got 5 or more? Let's start low-ish. Lovely. What about 7 or more? What about either 9 or 10? Oh, a few. And anybody 4 marks? 4 marks? 9. Yeah, very good. Well done, everybody. Very good observation skills. Very good. Give yourselves a clap. Okay, so we are about to do another little activity, but before we do that, I'm just going to tell you part of the reason why we've been talking about observation and watching carefully. So the sort of memory verse, I guess you'd call it today, is this verse. So you too keep watch, because you don't know what day your Lord is coming. And that comes from a passage in the New Testament where Jesus is talking to the disciples a bit about the future, what's going to happen. He talks about some of the things that might happen when Jesus comes back, and talks about being ready for them. And we're going to come on to that in a bit more detail in a minute, but our second little activity is maths related, everybody. You know that I say quite a lot, maths is life. And last year, there was a bit of a groan then for maths, I noticed. Wow. Last year, I got you to shout out the names of some shapes, if some of you remember. This year, you just have to count some dots. Okay, so what's going to happen is, if the technology works, I'm going to very quickly flick on a pattern of some dots and then flick them off. Okay, and you're going to watch really carefully. You don't have to write them down this time. This time, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and you're all going to shout out how many dots there are. And let's hope we're all shouting out the same number. If you don't know, you don't have to shout out, or you can make something up. Okay, so we're going to do an example together. Okay, so I'll flick on the pattern of dots. You quickly count how many there are. I say 3, 2, 1, then you shout out how many there are. Watch carefully. Okay, let's see if this works. How many dots? Not this one. You have to wait. 3, 2, 1. 9. Perfect. Okay, let's see it. I'm trying to flick them on a bit quicker. Let's see how this goes. Ready? Watch carefully. Oh, none. 3, 2, 1, 6. You're all too keen. Okay, here we go. Next one. 3, 2, 1. 25. It was 5 by 5. Good. Next one. Let's see if this works. Oh, it takes a little while to catch up. There we go. 3, 2, 1, 10. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Good. Okay, let's try the next one. Oh. 3, 2, 1. That was good. Well done. Richard Webster, I think, was first. There were 16 in a section. 4 16s are 64. Okay, watch carefully. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 45. Good, that's right. It was 5, wasn't it? The pattern of 5 on the dice. Yeah, and then you got it 9 times. I think this might be the last one. Oh, there might be 2 more, actually. Watch carefully. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's the first one where we've had random numbers. I didn't hear the right answer. Let's do it again. 3, 2, 1. 25. It's 5 each way. It's a square of 5 by 5 twisted on its edge. This is definitely the last one, and this is hard. Okay, watch carefully. Okay, shall I go back? Sarah, were you not watching carefully? Okay, let's see if I can do it again. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, say it again. 3, 2, 1. 20, good. It was 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 with 4 extra in the corners. So 20 all together. Excellent. Really good. Watching carefully, everybody. Okay, so you can put down your paper and pens. You won't need those. Just going to tell you 2 quick stories, okay? The first story is about a time when I watched something really well. Okay, so it goes back to 2013. Now, those of you who know me will know I'm not at all sporty. I've tried to do couch to 5K about 17 times. I've never managed it. I go to a gym about 3 times and then I stop. But I really love watching tennis. I don't like playing it at all, but I really like watching tennis. And in 2013, I remember really vividly coming home from church and thinking there were 2 things I needed to do on a Sunday afternoon. One was to watch Andy Murray in the Wimbledon final. And the second one was to mark a set of maths books. So went to church, had lunch, sat down on the sofa, got the maths books out. When I mark on the sofa, I have a big piece of wood that I put on my knees, the marking board. So I got the marking board out, got all the books in a pile, got my red pen, I was all sorted. And then the tennis started. And I watched the tennis really carefully. And after about an hour, I thought, oh, I felt really uncomfortable. And I realized that I'd been sitting cross-legged on the sofa with the marking board on my knees, with book number 1 open on the board, the red pen in my hand, and I hadn't marked a single thing. I'd been watching so carefully every point of the tennis that I had not been thinking about anything else at all. An example of watching well. Now, in contrast, this is an example of a time that I did not watch well, okay? This is a picture of a school assembly hall, and it's not our school assembly hall, but it looks very much like it. Rows of seats, and then big windows at the top. And when I was a fairly new teacher, you had to bring your tutor group into assembly in silence, and they all sat down in the rows, and the teachers sat in the aisle on a chair. So I'd done this lots of times before, so one particular day, I line up my tutor group, I take them all in, we're all sitting in silence. When the hall is full, there's 350 kids and about 20 staff. And the head teacher, who was quite a serious older man at the time, was doing the assembly. So he started, and I was not watching or listening or doing anything at all. I was just completely staring into space. And I sort of came to when I heard him say, "Miss Jones," which is me, and I thought, oh no, what on earth has he said? And my tutor group sort of look at me. I still don't know what's going on. So then he says, "Miss Jones." And I look really awkwardly again, everyone looks at me again. And then thankfully, my colleague next to me said, "The curtains." So the sun had been shining through the window onto the PowerPoint. And so nobody could see. The head couldn't see, the children couldn't see. And he was just asking me because the handle to wind all the curtains shut in the hall was right next to my head. But I had no idea what he'd said because I hadn't been watching carefully. And some of you will know that feeling where you haven't been watching carefully. Some of you children or young people will look up and you'll suddenly think, what is all that on the board that the teacher's written? I was, staring out the window. I don't know what it was. Some of you will have done that in meetings, and some of you might even have done it in church. Some of you might have done that thing where the speaker says, "And my third point is," and you think, oh my goodness, what was the second point? Was there a second point? What have I been listening to? So it's important, isn't it, to watch carefully, but sometimes we don't watch carefully. Okay, and the story today is a passage in Ezekiel 33. It's not one of those Bible stories that everyone probably knows, but this is part of the passage. Okay, it says this: "Son of man, give your people this message." So Ezekiel is a prophet. He's got a message for the people of God. "When I bring an army against a country, the people of the land choose one of their own to be a watchman. When the watchman sees the enemy coming, he sounds the alarm to warn the people." And the passage goes on to talk about some of the things that happen if the watchman does not sound the alarm as well. And the kind of brief that I was given by Flora said, talk about being a spiritual watchman. Okay, what does that mean? So I thought a bit about what that might mean. And the first picture is a picture of a medieval city in France. And Joe and I went on holiday to France a few weeks ago. And we went to that city and we walked around those ramparts and we did a guided tour. And the lady who did the guided tour was talking about all of the times that that castle had been under siege over the years and all the different ways that that castle was defended. And I did a bit of looking up about the role of a watchman in history. And this is what some of the things that I read said. It said the role of a watchman is to patrol the perimeter, to observe for threats, to provide early warning to the city's inhabitants and defenders. And the watchman often alerted the city with trumpets to give the community time to prepare. Okay, that was the role of a watchman, to see the enemy coming and to warn people in time so that they could prepare. And then I got thinking a bit about what would a modern day watchman look like. And I thought about someone who's a lifeguard. If you've ever been to the swimming pool or you've been to a section of beach that has a lifeguard, they do the same sort of thing, don't they? They look for people who are in trouble. They warn people if the tide is going to be really, really serious, really high. In a swimming pool, they're looking out for people who might have got into deeper water than they can manage, people who are unwell, and they're watching carefully. The role of a lifeguard is the same as the role of a watchman was, to watch carefully and to look out for people who are in trouble and to warn them. And I said to Mike Martin last week, he knew that I was speaking this week. He said, what's your topic? And I said, it's about being a spiritual watchman. And he said, there's that Matt Redman song, isn't there? And as he started to talk to me about it, I remembered it. So it's from 2002, which is probably before a lot of you were born. And the song is the only song really that I could think of that has that theme about being a watchman. Okay, and here are the words. I'll give you a minute just to read them. Some of you will be singing it along in your heads if you know how it goes. Okay. And the thing that really struck me in those words is, the chorus says, we're praying for your name to be known in all of the earth. And we're praying for your word to bear fruit in all of the earth. And if we think about being a spiritual watchman, that's what we're doing, aren't we? We're looking out. We should be looking out for people so that we'll see more people knowing God's name and that the gospel would bear fruit. And I was thinking of an example of that, and a recent example that came to mind is from some of our children. So at Easter, just before Easter, the church had made some leaflets, and the leaflets were inviting families to come to the Easter Sunday. There was a trail and a family meeting, and Abigail took a big pile of those leaflets into school, and Abigail and Edith and Phoebe gave them out to their class. Yeah, they were looking out for their friends. They wanted them to know that they could come to church. And I talked to a lady on Easter Sunday, and it was somebody that I used to teach with when she was a teacher at my school. And I said, how did you come to New Community? And she said, my daughter is in a class at Bitton Park School. And she got a leaflet from a friend of hers saying that she'd like to come to church. And she said to me, can we go? I really want to go. And that's a great example, isn't it, of looking out for those people around us and sharing something of God's name and wanting his name to be made known in all of the earth. And part of my job, I work with quite a lot of our vulnerable families, and I often will have a conversation with one of those vulnerable families. And what I think is, what you really need is community. You need people around you. You need hope, and you need peace, and you need love, which are found in church community and ultimately are found in Jesus, aren't they? It's really important that we're sharing our stories with other people, those spiritual watchmen. And then I got thinking about how some people find that much easier than others, don't they? Some people find it really easy to talk to people, to invite friends. And for some of us, that will be harder. And those of you who know me know that I love a story. I love to tell people things. But I do find it quite hard sometimes to talk to people about Jesus. And it got me thinking a lot about it because this is the city of Carcassonne in France, where Joe and I went on holiday. And if I've spoken to you in the last 2 weeks since we came back from Carcassonne, I've probably told you that you must go to Carcassonne because it's the most beautiful place in the world. I've definitely told Shirley and Richard, I've told Anne and Merrick, I've told Catherine and Alex, and lots more of you because I loved it. It's such a beautiful place. And I'm not from the kind of Carcassonne tourist board, but I have loved it. And I've told loads of people about it. So I've been a good evangelist of Bournemouth Airport and Carcassonne because I then say, you should fly from Bournemouth, it's really near. And I tell this whole story. And the other time I was a sort of evangelist in inverted commas is when I first got an air fryer. So everybody got an air fryer, and I was thinking, I do not want an air fryer, this is ridiculous. And Lewis and Sarah got one, and they brought it round to my house, and I was thinking, maybe I do want an air fryer. So then I got one, and then for the next 2 weeks, honestly, every day I went into school and I said to someone, I had salmon for dinner last night. Did you know that in the air fryer, what you do with salmon is? And every day I told someone about my air fryer. And it's a silly example, isn't it? But I was really challenged, actually, as I was putting this talk together to think about, why have I told all those people about going to Carcassonne? Because I want them to have that great experience. Why have I told everyone about my air fryer? Because I think it might save them some time in their busy lives. But how much more important is it to be inviting people to know Jesus, to be talking about our stories, to be sharing our stories of faith? So if I leave you with 2 things today, 2 things that I wanted to say. The first thing is, watch well. Be a good spiritual watchman, like I watched Andy Murray. Watch well. Who are the people who are around you? Who are the people that God's put in front of you? Who are the people that God's put on your heart? Who are the people that you might just run into at the supermarket or get talking to in the street? Who is it that we can be sharing those stories with? And for some of us, what we need is to be a bit more confident. And for me, that's what I need, actually. I need to be a bit more confident in sharing those stories so that God's name can be made known, that his word can bear fruit. And I was thinking about, as we go into a bit of a response, about a song. And at the end of last week, we sang, I Believe, the Bethel song. And some of the words say, as I bow before you, Lord, I will rise in confidence. I will see your goodness, Lord, in the land I'm living in. And for me, that's what I need. And it might be that there are some other of us as well who need to rise in confidence, to go out of this place being happier, to be a spiritual watchman, to be looking out, to be thinking about who the people around us are. And I want to just encourage us to be more confident in our stories, the stories of faith, the things that God has done for us. Sharing stories is so powerful, isn't it? And being confident in the gospel, really believing that what we say will make a difference in people's lives so that we can see a God who changes lives.